Hello, you sentient ball of stardust. My name is Casey Davis. I'm a therapist and I'm an author of the book How to Keep House While Drowning, where I talk about ways to make it a little bit easier to take care of yourself when you're overwhelmed, stressed, have mental health issues, physical health issues, or maybe you're just in a hard season of life. Maybe you're looking for a place that you can come and listen to some practical advice. This is a podcast for all of the self-help rejects. We're going to talk about skills for survival and self-kindness. And I'm going to leave the pop psychology at the door. I promise not to tell you to meditate or to journal. We're just going to give you some really insightful conversations with hopefully some practical advice. So I don't believe you need to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. I don't want you to just try harder, and I don't believe that laziness exists. So join me over on Struggle Care, where we can find compassionate solutions that help us function a little bit better.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me, your girl, Elena Grace, and you are listening to another episode of I've Been Thinking. Welcome in. Today we have a super special guest, one of my friends from college. We briefly shared an art studio our senior year, and it's Henry. Say hello.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for the intro.
Of
Yes.
course.
I
Thank
feel
you
like we
for
shared
being
maybe,
here.
of course. I feel like a couple of years. We had multiple classes, like painting classes that like together.
I think it was like our whole senior year because I did 2 painting classes senior year. So I think it
Yeah.
was just like that whole year we were together because I watched the entire, I got to see the entire self-portrait, like
Oh
in the
yeah, yeah.
mirror, a favorite.
hmm
Like I love that. And then
Thank you.
you're so welcome. And then I also got to watch the entire production of the tennis ball wall.
Yes, gosh.
I
That
love
tennis ball
that.
wall.
It's
Thinking
so
back.
good. Y'all, you have to, if you don't already, if you're not like a transy person and already follow Henry, you have to follow Henry. Just amazing content in general, but Henry's art is like to die for.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
You're
that
so
tennis ball
welcome.
was quite the monstrosity.
I love it though. I love it.
Thank you.
You're so
Thank
welcome.
you.
Well, tell us, introduce yourself. Tell us like like who you are.
Okay. So my name's Henry. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. But 2 weeks ago, I'm trying to think, it was September 20th that I moved to New York City. I live in the West Village and I studied art in college, taught myself graphic design afterwards. Um, and I love staying active, being outside, and being in the city. And I'm also, so since moving to New York, um, I'm like pretty much like dipping my toe in everything that I can or I've always wanted to. So I'm like, well, I used to teach workout classes, but I'm gonna try to like get back into that a little, maybe some modeling and still doing like my art and graphic design as well. Yeah.
I love it. I love that you're literally living your best life.
I can't really believe it. It's like kind of like I still can't believe it.
Yeah, well, like when you get to that point where you're doing all of the things that you had dreamed of, even if
hmm
it's not like I don't know, even when it's not exactly perfect, even when it's not like exactly how you imagined it or whatever, it's still so overwhelming that you're like, I'm in this place that I never knew for sure I would actually be here.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it's
so
like
cool.
it's so overwhelming, and it's just like also like so reassuring. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
totally.
really is. Like, you can do it. You really can achieve these things.
No, 100%. And it's
Wow.
not like to say I've really like achieved per se anything, but I have moved here, so we're starting. Like, we're
I
on
mean,
here.
that is an achievement. You've moved
Yeah,
here. You are a professional artist for all intents and purposes, even.
yeah,
Like, you have a professional website, you sell your artwork, all of this. Like, you already are so many things that you've dreamed of being.
yeah, yeah.
I
You're
love
right.
that
I
for
guess.
you. I
Thank you.
guess. No, I know how that feels exactly though, because I, I don't know. There's so many things that I've done where I'm like, oh, it's not that great. Like
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, I've
totally. Because
dreamed
it's
of
like,
this my whole entire life, but like, what? I'm trying to be
yeah,
humble or like I'm trying, whatever. And people are like, Elena, that's cool.
yeah. And I've like started to like, excuse me, say like more things out loud because
Yes.
like I've been all about like manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
like totally. And so like somebody the other day stopped me. I was just at like breakfast or lunch with me. Oh, are you a model? And I was like, kind of. And I was like, so now I'm just saying like, yeah, I am.
I love that.
Totally.
I think that's so important. I had that moment the other day. Well, a few weeks ago, somebody asked me what I did and it was someone I did not know at all. It was like
uh,
my boyfriend's cousin's wife, and she was
okay.
like, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a podcaster and an artist." And that was
Yeah.
like blew me away. That took so much confidence for me to say that out loud because I'm always scared of
Right.
what people are going to say back. Like, okay, but what do you do?
Yes,
Like,
100%.
yeah, but I'm like, no, these are what I want to be.
Yeah.
These are what I am, and these are what I want to be my full time profession. So I'm going to say
Yeah.
them out loud and make them real.
Yes. No, agreed. Totally.
It's so
Yeah.
hard to get there though.
Oh, it's such a journey. Just like you really have to fake it until you make it.
You do.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think like when I really started to like actually believe it because I feel like I've always like tried to fake it till I make it, but I feel like until I don't know, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago, I actually started believing it, and it wasn't so much faking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask you that because you've always been like a pretty confident person, at least in my experience with you.
Yeah.
Like the whole time I've known you, has faking it till you make it like been always kind of a mantra for that?
Kind of, but like I was actually so like right before I moved, because I was just like my last session, in-person session with my therapist, and we were actually talking about this. And because I was like, I feel like I've always done this, or like always like been on the outside, like outwardly confident.
Yeah.
But I said to her, I was like, it's really not, I feel like until semi recently that I've actually started to believe it. Because it's like faking it can be toxic
It
in some
can.
aspects, like putting on that mask. Um, but it definitely feels different now. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think if there was like ever a switch or like, and I don't know if it was like when I bought, I don't know, like my first dress or like my first pair of like quote unquote like women's shoes, just like something that I would like have never done before. Because
Mhm.
it's like once you get over the fact that like you can't make everyone happy, like you can either do this and people will be like, oh, you're not doing enough, or you can do the same thing and people will say you're doing too much. So you
Right.
just have to do whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
And I feel like I realized that like 2 years ago.
I love that for
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Thanks.
there I would say just from following you on social media, I remember that kind of switch where you started being more confident in what you were wearing
Yeah.
and in like your style and that kind of thing. Because like in college, there was nothing wrong with how you dressed, but you were like a lot of the times a little bit more fratty, or like you would just have like
Oh.
not like super frat, but you would have like an oversized t-shirt and shorts, and like that would
Yes.
be what you wore to the studio all the time and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, and usually they
Looking
were like
back,
shorty shorts, which I loved,
yeah.
but like that is so different from who you are
So different.
now.
And you said there's nothing wrong with what I wore in college. All that stuff was tragic.
Tragic. Honestly, I feel that way too. Like TBT to my Lily Pulitzer face.
Literally, I'm like, I would like look back at some of my outfits and I'm like, what was I thinking? Like literally.
Literally, like, why was I wearing that? That's not, which I know, like, I know why I was wearing that because I thought that was who I wanted to
True.
be.
Yes.
But, like, once I started wearing things that, like, honestly, once I just started wearing different things and like experimenting with styles, I had so much more fun, and I truly found
Yeah.
like who I wanted to be aesthetically and,
Yeah.
style wise. And it's
Yeah.
been so, and my mom has been insufferable about it because she's like, I always told you you should be boho. And I'm like, shut up, Carrie. Get out of my face.
Literally.
Get out of my face.
No, but yeah, it's definitely been fun just kind of like exploring because it's like, I mean, where we went to college was definitely like tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And like growing up, it's like where I grew up, like not necessarily anything wrong with it, but it's just like so much of the same.
Yeah,
And so
same.
then like once you kind of start to like break out of that, like it's hard at first, but
It
it's
is
like
so
so
hard.
rewarding.
So rewarding.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I had very much the same experience where, like, where I grew up, it was just a lot of the same. And
Yeah.
I'm so proud though looking at it now because, and I think that the internet, like, and social media has truly helped us so much.
Yeah.
Because girls now, like they are, and guys, they are more
Yeah.
explorative with their fashion and their style in general, and like more explorative with how they act and the things that they talk about and all of that stuff. My little cousin, he
Yeah.
just graduated last year, and
Mm-hmm.
like watching he's very much influenced by like who his friend group is at the moment, which is like a whole nother thing. I think he's still got like things to figure out. But
Yeah.
watching his evolution as a person was really interesting because he did things that when I was in high school at the same exact school, like that wouldn't have been socially acceptable.
Yeah. Totally. It's like crazy to kind of because I do think that there is like a lot of like bad stuff with social media, but like it kind of opens up this world to like creators that we can just like connect with and learn from. And it's
Yes.
like looking at like people that are in high school, I'm like, I would have never done that, but like I wish I could have.
Yeah. Literally, I
Yeah.
wish I could have. And I wish that I had had like the influence that some creators like that I have from some creators now where like I could have figured out my actual style earlier and not just been
Yeah.
mirroring the people around me and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think it's so, and it really does open up like some really important discourse too that we
Hmm.
didn't well, at least that I didn't have when I was
Yeah.
their age.
Yeah. Totally. And it like and also I feel like it makes it like so important for us or just people in general to be like so just like outwardly who they are. Like in
Yes.
particularly, I feel like not necessarily an obligation, but one, I enjoy it, but two, so like younger people can just like look at that and be like, oh, because I mean, like, because I remember the first two people I saw out like that were like quote unquote masculine, but like wearing femme clothing, and I
Mhm.
was like, oh, like I hope that someday someone looks at me the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so it's kind of just like a snowball effect.
it really is. No, it
Yeah.
absolutely is. And I think, yeah, exactly what you said. There is, in a way, like especially if we want to be creators, like we have an
Yeah.
obligation to, an obligation might not be the right word, but it kind of
Yeah.
is, like an obligation to leave like a good legacy for,
Yeah.
and to show people that they can break out of these molds and like all of that.
Hmm.
But also we have to be mindful with how we do it and like intentional, because
Yeah.
exactly what you said, setting that intention of, I hope somebody looks at me that way one day, like that's really
Yeah.
important. And that probably did really contribute to you developing into a confident person, like whether you
Yeah.
realized it or not.
No, 100%. Because it's just like takes one step, like in like the right direction, then like the next one comes easier, and then the next one is maybe a little bit bigger, and it gets even easier. Yeah, and like I truly do believe like it can snowball positively.
I agree 100%. Yeah, that
Yeah.
snowball, yeah, it's just, it's so hard to get it rolling. But once you
Yes.
do, it like, it can grow and you can become like who you're meant to be.
Yes. And like the other thing about it's like getting the ball rolling, because like something else that my therapist and I would talk about is like if there's ever like a dip in like my mood or like just like my progress,
Mm-hmm.
it's like an indication that you were already doing better. So to kind of think of it as like if you do ever have a dip, it just means that you have been getting better. Um, and it's like not to be so discouraging.
Oh, wow. I really like
Yeah.
that perspective a lot.
Yeah. So it's like you kind of just have to look at it as like a little trip, which has helped me a lot for like if I ever am like feeling some sort of type of way or like down. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this just means that I've been doing well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I really like
Yeah.
that. Because that's
Yeah.
definitely something I struggle with, is like I'll be doing really well, I'll be really proud of myself, I'll be feeling really confident, blah blah blah. And then I wake up one day and I'm just not having a great day, or I'm
Hmm.
not like super productive that day, because we value
Yeah.
productivity over health, that's great.
Yeah.
But and your value as a person is based on your productivity.
Exactly.
So I like don't have a super productive day, or I don't get something done, whatever it is, and I'm like, oh, I suck. So it feels so good. Like I really like that, as it's a trip versus you're
Yeah.
completely regressing. You've just
Like you're
stumbled a
not
little
at
bit.
square one.
Yeah, you pick yourself up and it's fine.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
love that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's like anything else in terms of the ball rolling that I wanted to talk about. But also it's like in terms of like just my therapy journey with like also like with depression and anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you I mean like because I have gotten to this space where I can like kind of recognize when things are going bad,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like my therapist and I were saying like I will never be like wherever I was like before, because it's like I now know so much and I just have to apply that and have to know in myself that it's like I've been in worse positions and I've gotten through it and I know I can do it again because
Th- That's
I
so
have.
important too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the confidence that knowing that you have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super important. Has like your therapist and like all of these things, has that contributed to the growth of your artwork and like the things that you're
Um,
exploring through your art? Because I think that I would love to talk a little bit about and tell the listener a little bit about the things that you do explore in your art, because I think it's really
yeah.
cool.
Thank you. Let me actually put my website so I can just have something to look at.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. It just kind of allows me, because I really use art as like a way to get everything inside out. So it's like my bio essentially is like I paint a sad clown so I don't have to be one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's my bio. It's like if it's not on the canvas, it's in my head. So it's better I paint a sad clown than be one. And so like sometimes my like art is so dark and it's just like if you were to know me, like there are parts of me like that I have like experienced those things, but like you would look and be like, oh my gosh, like are you okay?
Yeah.
And the answer is no, but but at least I'm creating some dope work. Um,
Yes.
no, but I like to like that's how I use my art, especially like recently. And I've also so like it's that and also kind of letting go of the idea that my art has to mean something so profound and it can just like be like cool,
Yeah,
just
it
because I
can
wanted
just
to
be
paint it.
cool. It can just be
Yeah,
visually pleasing. Like it can just
yeah,
be something that, yeah, something that you want to make. It doesn't have
yeah,
to like make this political impact on the world. It can
no,
just make someone smile.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a really hard thing I think to internalize, especially I think our generation maybe
yeah,
was kind of given the idea that we have to make this giant like huge impact on the world, like we all have to be these massive change makers on a global scale. And I don't know,
yeah,
there's so many people I know who have that ingrained in them, so I don't know
yeah,
where it came from. Because
yeah.
I also think we all had it before we got to college.
I
Like
agree.
I I
And I
don't
don't know why.
I don't either. But it's been so hard for me to come to terms with the fact that like I had always thought, okay, I'm going to major in political science at Transy. I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to eventually go into politics and I'm going to make big changes, right?
Yeah,
And then I realized our senior year of college that that was not what I wanted to do. I
yeah.
thought I wanted to do it and I had convinced myself of it because I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was a great idea and a good way to be an impact on the world. But I realized that wasn't what I wanted to do. That wasn't where my heart truly was. And so it's taken me a few years to obviously figure it all out and to overcome all of that stuff that I had internalized.
Yeah,
And like now I know that you don't have to do that to be a change maker and to be someone who makes an
no.
impact. You can literally just make someone smile, and that is still like an incredible impact on the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. Like this idea that we have to like be the best or like do all everything. It's like, no, we actually don't.
We actually do
Like
not.
we can just like chill.
Yeah, we can just exist and enjoy our time here and like not make it harder for other people.
Yes,
And that's
I
enough.
totally agree. That's it.
That's it. Like, that's all we
That's it.
have to do.
Yeah,
And
it's
if
just
we
as long as we're
want
not
to
making
do
it
more,
harder for other people.
yeah, yeah. And then if you
Yeah.
want to do more, if you want to change, if you want to whatever, then that's just, icing on the cake.
Yes. Agreed. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard to get to that point though where you realize like you said that not everything has to be so profound.
No. Just like by no means. I'm trying to think like of like examples where it's like we have felt that
Uh-huh.
and like it's okay if you completely fail.
Yeah. There's an episode of Bob's Burgers that like
Oh, okay.
really helped me with this.
Yeah.
Do you watch Bob's?
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
Okay, so of course, I am a fangirl, okay? So
Yeah, same.
there's this episode where Bob is freaking out because he was like reading this article about Doctors Without Borders. And he's like,
Yeah.
Linda, what am I doing? I'm not making any impact on the world. And he's
Mm,
like going in this depressive spiral. And then
yes.
they get to like, they are hired to cater a wedding.
Yes.
Yes. And it's this big thing. And he realizes like, you don't have to go to a war zone to be a doctor to be
Yes. This
important.
wedding is my war zone.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite songs from the entire series.
Yes. And I'm the doctor
Literally.
in it.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I love that
It's so
episode.
good. It's such a good episode. And it's
Yeah.
like so, that's such an important thing. And like them doing that episode has been so helpful for me to
Uh-huh.
like overcome that. Because
And just like apply it.
yeah, and apply it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like love using, I'm trying to think, like entertainment or like TV, just like people that I admire and apply what they say or like
Hmm.
preach to like my own life. Like I don't know if you watch Drag Race at all,
I
um,
don't.
but definitely should. But
Yes.
Bianca Del Rio season, I like swear to like change my life. Just like watching her and like how she talked, and it kind of like taught me to like take things less personally and really taught me to just like apply myself in general. Because
Yeah.
like I know that there are things I'm good at, but like if I just tried. But no, so it's like I love taking like episodes or like certain just like people from TV characters, whether they're real or like reality, like whether they're reality people or like characters, um, and applying that to my own life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's really important. And that's like, that kind of brings us back to the whole like, as if we want to be creators, if we want to be anything like that, like we need
Yeah.
to be mindful about, like, mindful to an extent about how we do it because we have such an effect. And
Yes.
like we
No.
can influence people not just to buy things or not just to wear things or something like that, whatever it is that your creative space is, but you can influence how people think.
Yes. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that about um like creating things because it's like if somebody slides into like my DM like oh like seeing you walk around in like those shoes like now I had like a pair of heels and I'm like and like
Oh,
thank you and I'm like oh my gosh this is like more than I could ever ask for.
yeah, that's so special.
Yeah.
That's so so special. Um I just remembered, I want to like
Yeah.
rewind just for a second. You asked if I ever watched Drag Race, and I like don't normally, but
Yeah.
one of my friends was on Drag Race one time.
Shut up. Which one?
He was a guest. He was,
Okay.
let me, hold on,
Like
let me,
like he like was like the somebody like he was being made over.
no, he is a drag queen just for fun in a spare time. And let me
Yeah. Who is it?
find
What's their name?
Slava Agafonov.
Yeah, I'm
And
trying to think
and he
because I've
was
like
like
seen them all.
no,
Okay,
Elena, I
here it goes.
swear.
Oh my gosh, wait a second. Okay, wait. I need to like look this up really quick. Okay, cool, because that looks like they had to be like the episode, so they were a guest.
Yes. Um
Okay, so Drag Race so that was 2011. Okay, gotcha, yes. So he was like brought on as I think it was the makeover challenge,
okay,
right?
was it?
Yes, it says the queens must transform a group of all-American straight jocks into their drag sisters.
That's so fucking funny.
That's
That's
amazing.
so funny. But like that is like he's done other performances. Like
Oh, he has.
yes, like that's not I don't think that was his first time doing
First
that.
time.
He
Okay,
yeah, like
gotcha.
he does it just for fun.
Yeah,
And like he's got like drag queen friends and stuff, but
yeah.
he's literally a surgeon. Like he's a
Shut up.
plastic surgeon.
Oh my
And
gosh, that's amazing.
and that's just one of his things he does for fun. Is that
That's
what
actually so funny.
is it not? And is that not just kind of goals also?
No, literally it is.
And like
Um,
go
because
ahead.
in Cincinnati, there's this drag queen. I forget because like sometimes there'll be like open mic nights,
Yeah.
and so or like open stage, and so it's like literally anybody could go and show up, and you have to show up with just like two numbers. I've never done it personally, but like I've gone to it like a bunch of times with my friends, and one time I went and he knew the person performing, and my friend was like, yeah, like out of drag, he is like this like C level like corporate person with a wife and kids, but like drag is like his release.
That is
And
so
like literally spinning on like their head, like doing like breakdancing and drag, and I was like living for my life. I was like, this is amazing.
I love
Yeah.
that shit. That's exactly how Slava is. He's just like I mean, he's it's not exactly how he is.
Where
He's
do they
like
live?
he just moved to I don't remember. But he was in
Okay.
Cincinnati.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in Cincinnati and
Gotcha,
then he just
gotcha.
so I think that like he was doing those like open stage nights. I think he did do that a time or
Yeah.
two.
I'll have to
Yeah.
ask my friends if they know him.
Yeah, you'll have to. I sent you his like his
Website.
Instagram
Or
link.
Insta, yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Well, let me
you
see if we have any mutuals. Yeah, we have two mutuals.
a
He's from
while
Russia.
like his family is. I don't remember. I'll have to ask Adam. He might have been born there. I don't remember. Wait, of all
What's the
places,
truth, Slava?
what's the truth, Slava? Um, he is. I'm pretty sure he was born there, and then he like came over
Okay,
here pretty
gotcha.
young. But of all places, met and made friends with this man at the Covington Yard.
Shut up.
Nope, nope.
That's actually okay. That is insane because I kind of have like a small. I don't know if this is really like a small world story, but so when I last weekend or 2 weekends ago, there was like this makeup artist who I follow, and they posted like about this makeup seminar that was happening. Like it was like a 18-minute walk for me. Um, it was in. I'm trying to think what. I think it was maybe in Soho, and so I was like, yeah, I'll sign up for this. It's Sunday night. I don't have anything going on. And I'm just like saying yes, yes, yes. And so like I
Yeah,
literally walk in with like a notebook and pen thinking it's literally gonna be like a seminar. And it's not. It's like
prepared.
you can literally go and sit down with a makeup artist and they teach you whatever you want. And I was not expecting that at all.
But
Like I
that's
hadn't
dope.
shaved my face. It was so dope. So I this person introduces himself. His name's Andrew. And he's like, oh, how long have you been here? I was like, I actually just moved here like literally like a week ago. And he's like, oh my gosh, like from where? And I said, Cincinnati, Ohio. And he's like, shut up. And I was like, why? And he's like, I'm from Northern Kentucky. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like,
Uh-uh.
just like the way the universe works. I
It's
was like, we like
insane.
insane. It's like we knew like the same bars. And I was like, this is too much.
That
But
is
I
too
loved it because
much.
it kind of felt like home. And I was like,
Right.
so do you miss Skyline? And he was like, oh my gosh, Skyline.
Wait, I'm gonna
Yes.
say something controversial. I hate Skyline.
It's
I
okay.
like I like Skyline dip,
Okay, okay, okay.
but I
What
hate
about Gold
Skyline.
Star?
I've never had Gold Star, so I couldn't tell you.
Honestly, neither have I. But there's this restaurant in New York that the last Monday of every month they do a Cincinnati night, which is like the most bizarre thing to me.
That is so
And
funny.
I don't really know why, but like they do Skyline, Montgomery, and Graders and La Rosas.
Oh, wow.
Like insane. And because there are a few transy people that live here,
Yeah.
and so like so we were all texting, and I was like, just FYI, like this exists if you guys are ever wanting Skyline.
That's so funny. I would definitely go just for the graders and them. I like Montgomery Inn. I do like it.
Yeah. So I only got the Skyline this most recent time, but I'm kind of like interested to taste the La Rosas. And like
Yeah.
no shade to La Rosas, but it's like not my favorite. But
Not my fave.
I'm curious to see what it's like in New York. I'm like, what if it's better in New York?
Oh, that's a good question. So, I mean, I'm technically gluten-free, so I don't eat La Rosas because they don't have
Okay.
gluten-free crust. At least none of the ones near us do. Like they say that they
Yeah.
might have a gluten-free crust at some locations, but they never do when I ask. So, I have just like taken bites of Adam's La Rosas and like a time or two when I've been
Yeah.
hammered drunk, I've eaten a few pieces.
Yeah.
Because that's when I decide that my digestion doesn't matter and that's a sober Elena problem.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. So
Exactly.
it's not my favorite. It's so sweet.
So sweet. Like it is candy sauce.
Yes,
Like
it's so
literally.
much sugar.
Yeah, and I don't really understand it.
I
Because it's like
don't
we
either.
grew up eating it every single birthday party like we went to.
Yeah,
I'm like, yes, it was La Rosa's. And so it's like I think that's partially why I'm burnt out on it.
that's fair.
But it is so sweet.
It's
And
so
there's
sweet.
just so much good pizza in New York.
Yeah. No,
You
I
know what I
wouldn't.
mean?
If I lived in New York, I would not be hung up on La Rosas.
Yeah, people are like, you've been there a week and you're already at Skyline. I'm like, get off my back.
Get off my back. See, Skyline is too cinnamony for me.
Oh,
It's
so cinnamony.
so much
Like,
cinnamon, and I love cinnamon, but I want my chili to be savory. I don't want my chili to taste like cinnamon.
yeah. No, like this old job I had, I worked at a theater, and my friend and I were like, do you smell that Skyline? And we're like, it's always like, it's like when we walk past this one part of the hallway, and we're like, we have to get to the bottom of it because like it keeps showing up every single day. And it was our boss's coffee, which was pumpkin flavored, and it just
Stop
smelled
it.
like Skyline because it was like cinnamony.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's really, really funny.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the food up here is so unique. It's so interesting. And it's like
yeah.
so interesting how it's very very culty. Like you
No,
have
it
to
is.
love Skyline.
Like people are like very particular about it.
Yes. There's like this is the good Skyline, that's the bad Skyline.
Oh
Like,
yeah, like there are good locations, there are bad locations.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Well, is there anything else you wanted to make sure we hit on?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what we were messaging about when we were. I guess
What?
if I had any advice for anyone, it would be if you feel like, and I am coming from like a place of privilege, so I know that not everyone has access to this,
Right.
but therapy changed my life.
Yeah.
And I like literally go out and shake people. I'm like, go to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
that.
awesome.
Go.
Why don't you let us know where we can find you? So plug yourself.
So on Instagram, my personal account is Henry Kramer, and that's just like my name is spelled probably in the bio. And then my art account is Henry Kramer, but with no vowels. So it's HNRYKRMR, and my art website is also HNRYKRMR.com. Yeah.
I love it. I need everyone who listens to this to go check out Henry's art because I really love it.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And for everyone who's listening, don't forget to follow. If you're new here, follow I've Been Thinking on Instagram at I've Been Thinking Pod. Follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. You can get us literally wherever you listen to podcasts. So hit the follow, subscribe button. Rate us on Apple Pods. if you have, that capability, iPhone, that kind of stuff. And check out the Patreon if you're able. That's where you can give either just a donation to the podcast. It can be a one-time donation, whatever you want it to be. And you can also subscribe to get extra content. So that's patreon.com/I've been thinking pod. Thank you guys so much for listening. And again, thank you, Henry, for being here.
Of course. Thank you so much.
I have loved this, and I hope everyone listening loved it too. I will talk at you guys next week. Bye.
Hello, you sentient ball of stardust. My name is Casey Davis. I'm a therapist, and I'm an author of the book How to Keep House While Drowning, where I talk about ways to make it a little bit easier to take care of yourself when you're overwhelmed, stressed, have mental health issues, physical health issues, or maybe you're just in a hard season of life. Maybe you're looking for a place that you can come and listen to some practical advice. This is a podcast for all of the self-help rejects. We're going to talk about skills for survival and self-kindness. And I'm going to leave the pop psychology at the door. I promise not to tell you to meditate or to journal. We're just going to give you some really insightful conversations with hopefully some practical advice. So I don't believe you need to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. I don't want you to just try harder, and I don't believe that laziness exists. So join me over on Struggle Care, where we can find compassionate solutions that help us function a little bit better.
You probably know the feeling: sweaty, fast breathing, quick heart rate. That's a cortisol spike. It feels awful, and its imbalance is the cause of your anxiety. Rebalance Health's 3-part anxiety system helps address it at the root. Rebalance Health lozenges are natural and designed for optimal absorption, providing 24-hour relief. Live life fully without feeling like you're fighting for it. Get 50% off your first month with code CALM23 at rebalancehealth.com.